if you just hold it here and then you move and you hold it here and then you move, or then you're here and you hold it here and then you hold it here, it's not really clear what's being created because you're not moving quickly enough through the petals. You're waiting too long in each position. So you would really have to actually do the pattern. Okay, that feels this way. Now how's this one? Oh, this one feels a little slower. Wait, let me do the other. No, this one feels much faster. Wait, yeah, this one feels slower. Okay, this one must be my InSpin. Oh, and if I look at the petal, when I look at it, it's nice and round. Okay, what about this one? Okay, oh, wait, no, these petals are ovals. These petals look different. That must be AntiSpin. So when it's circular, it's InSpin. When it's ovalic, it's AntiSpin. When it's faster, it's AntiSpin because you're doing 4 petals with 3 rotations. Whereas with InSpin, you're doing all of the rotations to make it happen. If your hand is moving in the same direction, so if your arm moves back or forward with the poi, so looking at this one right here, this is my right hand, and at the bottom of the turn, if my hand moves with it, making those big circles, and it takes longer to do, that is your InSpin. If your arm moves against the poi, so my poi is still going that way, if my arm moves that way, and it makes these ovalic shapes rather than these circular petals, right? So the ovalic petals, the elliptical shape is an indicator for sure that you're an AntiSpin. And if it has that feeling of happening faster, that also makes it AntiSpin. Maybe associating all of those things together that might help. So it's the duration of time. It takes longer to do with InSpin. You have a bigger petal because it's circular versus ovalic, and you have more rotations to make it happen. That is InSpin. AntiSpin is quicker because you have fewer rotations, and it goes by faster, and your petals are smaller as a result because they're just these ovals versus these big circles, and you move against the direction of the poi. I thought it was clear that if your poi is here, and at the bottom of the turn, it's going that way, if you do a full rotation with your arm, so your arm can either go this way, or your arm can go this way. If you do a full rotation with your arm, it's gonna remain either InSpin or AntiSpin, depending on how it started. So if my poi were underhand like this, that means it's going this way. If my arm just goes all the way around like that, that's InSpin all the way around. So you don't just like randomly pick a petal. You come specifically to the bottom. That's why I do it this way every time. And you start at the bottom so that there's no confusion. And it doesn't change unless you change the direction of your arm. So if you just consider it one full rotation around with your arm, starting at the bottom petal of the flower, that should help you identify it. It's about the full rotation of the arm with or against the poi as measured at the beginning of the rotation down at the bottom here. When you're here, it's like, okay, my poi at the bottom of the rotation is going forward. And you could look at your arm and say, oh, well then to go with it, I would go this way because that's moving forward. But the thing is, you're at the top of the rotation of your arm. You have to measure like with like. The poi is going this way, which means in order to go with it, the arm, if it were down at the bottom, would go this way. Since you're at the top of the turn though, you keep going around that turn to get there because you have started halfway through the rotation of the arm. It's about the same relationship between the two of them, which I don't think I clearly stated in that other session. If you were here, it would be easier to measure it at the top of the turn because you're at the top of the rotation for the arm. So you could measure the top of the turn with the poi and then they're in a like position, which means at the top of the turn, it's going back that way. So InSpin would be going back that way. Or at the top of the turn, I would go forward with my arm because the poi is going backward to create my AntiSpin. And then you are using like to like. It would work similarly if you were in the back pedal, right? Your arm's in the back position. So if you're going InSpin, since the poi is going down, your arm would go down with it. Or if you were doing AntiSpin, your arm would have to go up because the poi is going down. It's about like to like. For completeness sake, in the front position, same thing. You measure from the front of the pedal. So it's up to be InSpin or down to be anti-spin. And then we could do, you know, it's however many petals, it doesn't matter.